Hey guys, Jacob here. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about something that I haven't talked about in a while, and it's going to be my favorite game mode in Division 1, which if you guys are not familiar with, which was Survival, which was in the expansion to DLC. Survival was pretty damn awesome due to the fact that you had to literally survive through everything from the environment to finding painkillers because you were infected and finding medicine that would keep the infection down, and you had to craft stuff from clothing to weapons to even other stuff like your filter to get into the DZ. I really think this game mode was really insane and a lot of fun due to the fact that everyone was on the same playing field and you spawned in with absolutely nothing and they spawned in with nothing and you had to find gear to survive. And you had so many things, like from people, if you played PvP, to the cold, thirst, and hunger, which affected you a lot if you did not have a decent amount of food or water. But I think they, it kind of sucks that they did say they weren't going to put this in the second game. And I know it's going to be a little bit difficult due to the fact there's no more snow. And I don't blame them that, they don't want to do this because it might be a decent amount of work. But also, I mean, this was probably one of the best game modes they ever put in Division 1, or, in my opinion, it was the best game mode they put because it was so different compared to any other game mode. You had so many things affecting you. And even the hunters at the end, once you extracted, were pretty, difficult to kill if you didn't have the proper equipment. And that's kind of where the whole hunter mask and people trying to get the urban MDR was the main reason trying to play this, or just have some type of PvP that was not based around gear sets or exotic weapons like the house. And that's why a lot of people went into this. But I think it should be, or could be pretty easy that they could implement this. Shout out to Coldboy, who made a video on an open world Dark Zone, who actually was talking about a 32-player Dark Zone, if I remember correctly, with landmarks and stuff like that. And I don't see why they couldn't, implement something like that in, and just change it over to like a survival type game mode where the last man standing wins, which you could call that battle royale, but they could add some aspects to it like the DC-62 toxic stuff that could harm you, and put tons of different types of NPCs, because there are a decent amount of NPCs in this game that are way different compared to the ones in the first game. But they could make a bar where it's just for food and hunger, or hunger and water, that would be going up where you get the resources by collecting them at different settlements. In the current game, they could just add that, where it kind of dips into your character and keeps you alive. They could also add more clothing, or different types of clothing, or just change it completely different, where you might have to find like a hazmat suit and flip it all together to get into certain areas where you have to go around the map and claim different pieces to make the hazmat suit, from the boots, the shirt and the pants, or maybe even like a mask, or your mask too. That way you get split into 4 sections and you have to go into 4 different places on the map to get these, and other people are trying to get them as well. And there are more people who are trying to get them. It could make it harder for you to get to them due to the fact that there's other people going to be fighting there, and you might have to kill people to take their loot. That way you can extract with all your gear. They could also put a pretty awesome exotic or something in here. That way it makes people want to play it. And it also, gives us something new instead of just running through classified missions and running through, all the other side missions and main missions over and over again. And sure, there's heroic and stuff like that you can play on, but it does get a little old. So hopefully they add something like this in the future. Let me guys know in the comment section below if you guys have the same thinking as I do, or think that this would be a great idea if they actually brought this DLC back. I even think they could bring some other DLCs back as well, but it might be a little more difficult, like Underground and maybe Last Stand they could put in there. But most people play Conflict or go in the DZ. Or maybe in the new update we'll actually get potentially a new area to explore, and maybe they'll add survival in the future or something like it. Maybe even resistance, I'm not 100% sure. But thank you all for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Division 2 content, and I'll catch you guys all later.